expect of us? What comes with rights?
Responsibility.
Responsibility to whom? To the giver of the rights.
God.
There was a moral code by which we were to live. That's why people say this is a Judeo-Christian country. Why? Because our rights come from God. And if you read that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Obviously, the foundational right, life, which is, of course, under assault in this country. Freedom, which is absolutely under assault in this country. And then the pursuit of happiness. This is very important because as Republicans, we need to have this discussion. We're going to have it tomorrow night. What does that really mean? There are some within our ranks, libertarians, who believe the pursuit of happiness means the pursuit of pleasure, to do whatever you want to do. That is what our founders intended. It is absolutely not what they intended. The pursuit, you look up the dictionary definition of happiness at the time of the founders, and you will see the definition say to do the morally right thing. Because that's what our founders understood would lead to happiness. Our country was founded as a moral enterprise. John Adams said after the drafting of the Constitution, this Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate for the governance of any other. That's what our Constitution was founded, to protect these freedoms. If you think about what the Constitution is really all about, it's for limited government and free people.
Amen.
To protect life and liberty so people could pursue God's will for you and your family and your country. And guess what? It worked.
It did.
America transformed the world. You see, we need to have leaders who remind us, not of our faults all the time. We certainly get that every day. But our leaders need to remind us who we are and why we became the greatest country in the history of the world. At the time of the Declaration of Independence, life expectancy in America was 35 to 40 years of age. We were an agrarian society. Anybody know what it was at the time of Jesus Christ? An agrarian society with life expectancy of 35 to 40 years of age. 1,800 years of human history. 1,800 years of those who were the leaders of government in control of the rights, giving and bestowing rights to the people as they saw fit. And the human condition did not change. But for the first time in human history, we said, no, rights come to you, and we are going to allow people to be free. The one thing the federal government is about is protecting life and liberty. And we will build a great country from the bottom up, not the top down. Life expectancy is now close to 80. We've gone through an industrial revolution, a technology revolution. The poorest person in America today, from the standpoint of creature comforts, is wealthier than the wealthiest people 50 years ago. The dynamism of this country, of free people and limited government, transformed the world. It wasn't just a coincidence that it happened at that period of time in America, in the history of the world. Did it happen in the Muslim world over the last 200 years?
No.
Did it happen in Africa? Did it happen in South America? If it did in any of those places, it's because they borrowed from us.
That's right.
We are exceptional. We are a great country because we were founded a great country. The premise of America. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's at stake in this election. There are a lot of things that happened over the past 70 years since the Great Society programs. Excuse me, the New Deal, the Great Society programs. But what happened over the past 2 years caused me to come out and speak to the public again after losing my race in 2006. It caused me to go out and fight because I see exactly where America is headed. It is why the Tea Party is the Tea Party.
Yes.
Because they see where America is headed. that is one bill, which is the straw that will break the camel's back and will create an America that is irreversibly in decline. And that bill is Obamacare. Is it any wonder that for 100 years the progressive movement in this country has had one holy grail? And it's not because they care. For 1,800 years, government cared. It's because that is the ultimate way to get back the power that our founders took away from government. That's the way that they can centralize power. Why? Because they will own you. You will have to go to them to get your care. I remember being in the green room of Fox about 3 days before the vote on Obamacare. And in walked Juan Williams, the now famous Juan Williams.
He never learns.
And I asked Juan, I said, Juan, you guys are pushing this bill through the House of Representatives, the thing that passed the Senate. This is after Massachusetts. Polls are overwhelmingly against it. And I said, what are you guys doing? Well, as you know, he gets his talking points from the White House before he goes on TV. And he said, this is what the White House told us. Quote, we believe that Americans love entitlements. And once we get them hooked on this entitlement, they will never let it go. This is how they see you. People who are dependent, who should be addicted and dependent upon them because they know better what's best for you. The ads just a few months ago, pushing grandma off a cliff. Remember that on the Medicare bill? You know what the Medicare issue is about? Whether seniors can decide what health care is best for them, or will seniors get a one-size-fits-all government-run program. If you are not for a one-size-fits-all government-run program where the government tells every senior what they shall get, you are for throwing grandma off a cliff.
That's right.
Because according to them, you are not capable of freedom. This is what is at stake in this election. And ladies and gentlemen, if we lose, you will be the generation. You will be the generation that broke faith with the greatest country in the history of the world, and you will be the generation that lost it. This is why this election. This is why I have 7 children, ages 20 to 3. I have no business running around the country, running for president of the United States. If you have any question about that, I'll give you my wife's phone number. But she and I both know what our duty is. Yes, to be a good husband and good father, but to leave our children a place better than what we were given. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your duty. Now, I know you're out here in California.